Digital Romance TV.
Welcome to Digital Romance TV. Hello, my name is Clay Andrews and I'm a dating and relationship expert over at lovingboldly.com. Now, in this short video that's only going to be a few minutes long, I'm going to tell you how to get a guy to open up and share his emotions with you, okay? Now, before I can get into this, I first need to explain to you that there are really two separate levels of communication, two separate levels that you can talk and have a conversation at. And the first level, of course, is the superficial level. This is where we talk about things like the weather, what we did last weekend, just like the people, places, and events of our life, right? And this is the kind of conversation that a lot of people spend much of the day in. And this can be great, however, it's not really going to give you that kind of deep, juicy, rewarding, emotional connection that I'm sure you probably want from the special guy in your life. And what you want to do to get that connection is to move down from the superficial level to the emotional level of communication, okay? And this is where we talk about things that are a little bit deeper than just like what you did last weekend or what the weather's like or the sports team or whatever. This is where we talk about our feelings and emotions, okay? Now, oftentimes women have a problem where they want to know how a guy's feeling. They want to know what is on his mind and what's in his heart. And what you need to do to get to know these sorts of things is to get him to go down from that superficial level of communication down into that emotional level of communication, okay? So how do you do that? You start by, well, first of all, most conversations actually start up in the superficial level, and that's perfectly, totally normal. That's absolutely fine. But in order to get anywhere, you have to first start a conversation with somebody, start talking about, whatever, maybe it's what you did last weekend or whatever. But in order to get to the emotional level, you start by asking the two magic questions, okay? And these two magic questions help you shift from superficial down to emotional level. The first question is, what was that like for you? And the second question is, how did that make you feel? Okay, now obviously some men have a difficult time talking about their feelings, so saying something like, what was that like for you, can be more effective if you're with a guy who's maybe a little bit more closed off emotionally. But either one of those questions will help take the conversation down from a superficial level, like, how was your weekend, what did you do? Oh, I went to a party at a friend's house or something like that. And then it's like, well, what was that like for you? Then suddenly you start having this conversation of like, oh, well, it was really nice. I hadn't seen this person in a long time and I got to reconnect with him. And suddenly, you've shifted from talking about things to emotions, right? And when you get down to the level of emotions, that's when you can start to connect emotionally, start to have those deep, juicy connections. Because even though we may not share the specific events and circumstances in our lives, like what we did last weekend or whatever, we all have felt the same emotions, whether those be feelings of happiness, sadness, frustration, anger, loss, grief, joy, anything in between. We've all felt those, and you can absolutely connect more at that emotional level. So, for example, say you're talking to a guy, he says he was at a house party or something. You ask him, what was that like for you? And he says, it was really great. I got to see a friend. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. We got to reconnect and everything like that. So suddenly there's this feeling of reconnecting with someone that you haven't seen before. And you can absolutely relate to that. You can say, yes, I absolutely relate to that. I recently met up with a friend from high school. I hadn't seen her in years, and blah, 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 blah. And suddenly the two of you are connecting over what it's like to reminisce and reconnect with old friends. So you see how that works, right? How you can shift from the superficial level of communication down to the deep emotional level of communication with those two magic questions. And once again, just to remind you, those two magic questions are, what was that like for you? And how did that make you feel? Okay, so go ahead and try that out with your guy at the next opportunity you have, and go ahead and let me know how that works for you in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching. This has been Digital Romance TV, and if you'd like to learn more about me, Clay Andrews, you can head on over to lovingboldly.com and sign up there to get help with your love life. Thank you very much.
You've been lied to by every man you've ever met. Go to digitalromance.tv/secret to watch a special video where I teach you why men lie to women they love and how to finally discover the astonishing truth about men.